So now we will look at how we can actually use tables to display tabular information and also to make our web page appear better. So this is not mandatory, it's by the way optional, but however having a good appearance of your web page will help you to um, you know gain more popularity. So how the way your web page is going to look actually also plays a major role whether your user is going to use it or not. Okay, so obviously it's up to you to make your web pages look good. But however, now we shall have a look at how we can display the tabular information in our web page. And to display the tabular information, we are going to make use of a tag called as table tag. Okay, so this table tag can be used to display the rows and columns of data, and you can also create multi-column text captions for images and sidebars, etc. So there are multiple uses of this table tag. So the table tag is used to create a table, and to create a row in that table you are going to make use of the tr, and to create a column in that table we are going to make use of td, or the table definition. Okay, and tr for table row. So every table can have a border, and it can be of a specific size. So that size you can mention through the attribute called as border. So border is equal to some value n will actually allow you to have a border around your table. Okay. So n indicates the pixel size. So it can start from 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth, depending upon your requirement. And it can also have color. Okay, table can also have color, border color, which you're going to specify by making use of the attribute border color and then specifying a color for that. And you can also play around with making the shading the contents of your table by using border color dark or border color light or something like this. Okay, so now we shall create a simple table. Okay, so let me copy this. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll create a new page to demonstrate the tables. The HTML page, so I need to enclose that within HTML tag. Okay, so now you can observe I'm using all small caps, small letters for HTML tags. So just to show you that you need not give it in capital letters only. Okay, so this will be our table page dot html. Okay, I'm once again saving this in desktop, right? So this is now table demonstration. So let me load that page, table page. As you can observe, it only contains heading called as table page, sorry, table demonstration. So now let me change this. Okay, how do I create a table? So we create a table by using table tag. Okay, and of course associated slash table to end the table tag. Now in between I want rows and columns. Okay, so to create a row we are going to make use of tr. Okay, to create a row we are going to make use of tr, and to end that row we are going to make use of slash tr. So this now, or this tag here, will create a table with one row. Okay, so this is a table that is created with one row. So let me reload this. Okay, I forgot to add the br tag here. So br, yeah, right. Okay, and I will also display this in center because it looks good in the center. Okay, it looks good in the center. So I'll do this. Now let me reload this page, and as you can observe here, one row is being displayed. But you might be thinking that this is just a text box or this is just a text, right? But it's not text. So that I will be able to distinguish if I now give the border for that particular table. So then a border does not exist in the earlier case. Now I have given the border. Sorry. Oh, sorry, I need to give 10. As you can observe, for this table, we have got the border now, and this is a table that is created with only one row. Okay, now I will include this. So I need to, in this row, let me assume that I want to create a table with two rows and three columns. Okay, now to create a column, I will use TD. Okay, now to create a column, I will use TD, and to end that column, I will use slash TD. So within that, my column name should appear. Okay, so I'll just write this as first column. Okay, and now we will have a table created with one row and one column. See this? We have created a table with one row and one column with a border size of 10. So let me create one more column. So how do I create one more column? So second column is TD. So I'll write second column. Okay. And to end this second column, I will use slash TD. So now if I save this and run, now I have created a second column. So I said I want to create three columns. So once again, TD, third column, okay, slash TD. So I have created the table with one row and three columns. Okay, one row with three columns. Now what if I want one more row? Okay, so if I want one more row, then I need to have TR once again. Okay, and of course it ends with a slash TR. But in this row now, we are supposed to have three columns, right? So I'll write TD slash TD, first column, TD slash TD, second column, TD slash TD, third column, right? So we have got our three rows and three columns, right? But of course, you are not saying the content correctly. So if I add something here, first value in between the TD and the slash TDs, second value and third value. Okay, now we can observe. I will also reduce the size of the table border. Okay, now we can observe that it's showing first column, second column, third column. Okay, now what if I want one more row? Okay, so I need to repeat this again. Just replace this with second value, second. Okay, I'll write it as fourth value. I'll write something else. 1, 2, 3. 5, 6. 7, 8, 9. So I have created a table with three rows and three columns, right? So as you can observe, we have created three rows and three columns. So if I remove the border now, now you can observe the data is arranged. Correct? It's still a table. The data is arranged, but the table does not have any border as such. So what if I want the first row to be a header for the table? Okay, so if I want the row to be a table header, then instead of tr, I'm going to make use of th. Okay, which says table header. So instead of table row, we specify that as table header. So what's the advantage of that? The advantage of that is that the data is going to be considered as a head. The first row is going to be considered as a header. Okay, so if you don't want that, then you can simply replace this with tr. Okay, we can simply replace that with tr. So this is how I create a table with multiple rows and multiple columns. Okay, so this is how we create a table, and you can also adjust the width of the table, height of the table, okay, so on and so forth. But do remember that it cannot be smaller than the contents. So whatever content you put inside, so the table width and height cannot be less than that. Okay, so of course it's all up to you to decide. So we can also align the contents. For example, let us add this align is equal to center. So let us align all the contents of our table to center. Okay, previously we had aligned the table itself to center. Now we shall, if you observe, I'll give border as 1. So that will help you to check. Okay, so I'll remove this align for now. So as you can observe, the table is centered, but the contents of the table are actually aligned to the left. So if I want to change the alignment to center, okay, then I need to change it to align is equal to center. So, okay, sorry. Okay, maybe the content is not working here. Right, but you can actually align the table content to center in some browsers. Okay, so this is one thing. Of course, it is aligned to center, I believe. Okay, let me check. We will add this to table row. We'll align all the text to center. So as you can observe, all the text has been aligned to center now. Okay. So like this, you can change the way you represent the data in your table. Okay, and of course there is wrapping around present for tables. If you have large information to be displayed in your table, then you can also have this wrapping around by default. And as we have already seen that we can align the table's content to left, right, or center. Okay, and we would end the table tag by making use of slash table. Okay, so you can also play around with the spacing. So what is the horizontal spacing you want and what is the vertical spacing you want? So let us use this. These things are just for appearance, may not be essential. Okay, so of course if you give proper values, this here, if your table wraps up the data, then it will follow that spacing around. Okay, so okay, I think these things are not required. So we already know how to create the table. Okay, so can we have one table within another? Yes, we can have one table within another. That is also possible, but we need not use it. So border color can be changed, background can be changed. So let us change the border color of our table. So I'll change it to red. See, now the content has been changed to red. The background color has been changed to red. Okay, so like this you can play around with the text information to create your tables. Okay, now the reason why I introduced the concept of table here is because, as you can observe in this page, we have got data all aligned at the left. Okay, so I'll go back to our second page. So what if I want it to appear at the center? So I need to put the entire form in center. So I will use the center tag and see what will happen. Okay, and after the center tag, so after the form tag, I will put slash center. Right, so now we can observe that my contents are coming at the center. Okay, but it's not arranged properly, correct? So there is no proper alignment. So what I can do is I can actually use a table, and inside the table I can actually fit in the labels along with their components. So let us use the table to do that. So let us use this table only, but this time now I need one column for labels and one column for components, right? So we'll do that here. So I need only two columns. So I have to remove the third column here. So I will remove this td slash td. Okay. So how many rows I want and how many columns I want? Let us check. So how many rows I want? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and of course for comment it is 6, and of course this one is 7, right? I need to also have buttons. So 7 rows I want. So I will copy paste this. Okay, once again, third column is not required. Just erase this td/td. Third is td/td. Okay, now if I save this and run, you can observe that I have got three rows and two columns. Okay, so now how many I want? I want around 7, right? So copy paste this content. So it's already 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6, 7, right? So now I've got 7 rows and 2 columns. Okay, now instead of first value here, I need to write first name, correct? So wherever first value is, so there I will change it to first name. So beside that first name, what do I have? I have last name, right? Then I have got I think forgot shared type. Okay, and I got size. Okay, I got size, and then color. Okay, and then comments. So color, then comments, right? Now beside that label, I should have the components, right? So look into that later. So now let us refresh the page and see, right? As you can observe, first name, last name, shirt type, size, color, and comments. Now here, wherever the second value is, I need to have my text box, right? So what is the tag to add a text box? We already have done that in our previous page. So this is our second page, right? So I'll take this text box tag. Okay, and I'll copy it to wherever second value is, right? Now we shall see. I'll change the background color to uh, okay, I'll change the background color. It's very odd. Okay, now we can observe that a text box has actually appeared. Okay, so text box has actually appeared now. So let us now uh, use this slash input. I think this will align the text box properly. Okay, it's not aligning. Let me see that later. Okay, so we got the first text box in place. I will also copy all the other things into my table. So I think this is BR is not required now because we are inside a table, right? So I got the last name now. See, now it is a text box, correct? Now it is a text box. Okay, shirt type. What do I want from shirt type? I want the select button, right? So I'll use the select tag. Add it to our code where 456 is there. Okay. So inside our table definition, we have a select tag now. Okay, and that ends our third row. Okay, let us see how it appears. As you can observe, sleeveless, right? So it is appearing properly. Now the fourth one is radio button. Fourth and fifth are radio buttons, right? So input type, I'm going to add that. my fourth place. So as you can observe here, I have added this hash td end of our table definition. Okay, and end of our row. See how it appears. As you can observe now, I've got four options, right? So next one is checkbox input type, right? So I'll add that code checkbox to where color is done. Okay, I'm just giving enter here just to make you understand that we are in the same table definition. And finally, now if I refresh, now you can see color has appeared. Comments, right? So comments has a large text area. So we'll use comments text area as it is. I will add it to the code so that it gets reflected in our page. Okay, so comment area has also been added. So as you can observe here, we can change the size to our requirement, or you can keep it as fixed also. That's not a problem. Okay, now in place of 1, 2, 3 here, I will put the reset button, and here in place of 4, 5, 6, I will put the submit button. Okay, so let us go to the code. So where is submit button? So here is submit button. So that goes where? That goes in place of 4, 5, 6. Okay, and where does the reset button go? The reset button goes where we had 1, 2, 3. So that's why I had given some value there. There is 1, 2, 3. So here it is. Okay, right? So now see, you've got a form that looks good, right? So if I remove the border for this, if I give border is equal to 0, you can observe it still is aligned properly. Okay, it still is aligned properly, right? So if I remove this align center, then it will align to the left. So it looks good. So this content actually looks good. That's why better to make use of a table like this whenever you are designing your component. So it looks really good, right? So now, so this thing I want. Okay, so just remove this first column, first row, sorry. I'll remove this first row. Observe now I've got only the form to fill up. Okay, now this entire table has to be enclosed within the form, right? So we have previously done that. So what I will do is from my previous page, which is this, which contained all this information, I will take that out. So we have created this form using the table, and we have added all the components, and you can see that it now has a good appearance. But we did not put the form inside, sorry, we put the table inside the form. So what we can do is what I will do is I will add the form here only. So it is form. So method I will specify equal to post, which we had discussed about earlier, and where it has to be submitted. So action. So action is test.php. Okay. So test.php. I'm submitting this, and I will close this form after the table. Okay, so it is slash form. Now we can observe that this form contains this table. Okay, so I'll reload this. Okay, you can see that there is no change, but however, when I click buy now, so it now takes me to test.php, or it is looking for the file test.php, but currently does not exist. So like this, you can create a HTML page for your uh, web project to accept input from the user. Okay. Now there is one more thing, that our HTML page can contain several forms. Okay. Like for example, I'll say the same. I'll copy paste the same page, same code once again, 2 times. So now I have got 2 forms, right? If I reload this, as you can observe, now I've got 2 forms. So the advantage of this is that I can make the data of this form go to one page, and I can make the data of this form submitted to another page. For example, I will submit the first form data to test1.php, and I will submit the second form data to test2.php. Okay, so let us see whether it happens or not. Okay, so if I click on the first form by now, so it is going for test1.php. Okay, so if I click on the second form, so as you can observe, it is going for test2.php. So normally you can have more than one form in your web page, but it would be confusing. Do it if it's absolutely necessary. If not, then you can always use a single form and to submit the information. Okay. So one more thing that we need to also observe here is that what happens if I click the information without giving any data. Okay, so I'll change back my page to how it was previously. Now it is having a single form. So what if I click buy now? So without even giving first name and last name, okay, and any other option here. So if I click on buy now, it will take me to the page. Means it can actually take empty values also. So the user may click on this buy now without selecting any data as such. So what to do in these cases? So we now have to ensure somehow that the user gives data which is required. Okay, like for example, a comment may not be required for a user to add because it's optional, but other information may be required. Like for example, what type of shirt he is looking for, what is the size of the shirt, or what is the color of the shirt. So all these things may be required, including the first name and the last name. So how do you ensure that you don't submit the data without these values? Okay, so in case of HTML5, we have got one option for every input type. We can actually type required. Okay, we can actually type required, which will ensure that you give in some data, or you always submit the form with some data. Okay, like what are all the fields I want to make required. So the first text box is required, value for second text box is required, so I made it as required, and of course the select button also, and size also, right? So we'll add size. Okay, yeah, size is also required, and I will also add checkbox. One of them is required. So I will not add anything for comment, but I'll just remove this add your comments. So now let us save the file and check. Okay, so now if I try to click on buy now without giving any information, okay, as you can observe, it is asking me to fill out this information. So I will fill in the first name, okay, maybe Brown. Okay, and now I'll try to submit. So it is now asking you to give second name. Okay, if I try to do it again, it will ask me to select large. Okay, if I try to do it again, it will ask me to select for the check boxes. And now comment is not required, by the way, so I will not type in any comment. So it's not required. So now if I click on buy now, sorry, okay, so all the check boxes I need to check. So now if I click on test buy now it is taking me to test.php, okay, with values. So this is how, by making use of the HTML5 option, which is required field, okay, you can ensure that you get the data from the user and the user does not submit empty data. Okay, so this is a brief demonstration of how you can use HTML to create your web pages. Okay, so now we shall see how we can access the data that is submitted uh, by the HTML to our PHP for further processing, right? So this we shall see in the next part.